Welcome to Disqualified. You guys are here with your hosts, Caleb, Trevin, and Gordon. And you got Zach right behind as our producer tonight. So we're going to just get straight into the show.
Sweet. So this episode is going to be focusing a lot on the weekly stuff with a couple side comments. First, Raw. I'm going to clump all this stuff together because it covered a majority of the show. The stuff with Rhea Ripley, Liv, Dom, and new addition to this storyline, Jey Uso. It was hilarious.
He's like, wait, isn't he like hitting on her?
Yep.
Yeah,
he was asking Damian Priest if Rhea's single because he want to holler, and Damian playing wingman, being like, "Hey, maybe."
Hey, does Rhea have his number?
She did post on, I think it was like Instagram
and TikTok.
It was like a fan art of her and Jey Uso at a Waffle House.
Oh, shut the hell up.
But also there was the WWE backstage segment on TikTok post show. The main interview girl was interviewing both of them, and she asked Rhea, "Does Jey have your number?" And Rhea's comment was just, "Yeet."
Oh no, Dom's out the picture.
Oh,
no.
I mean, there was a post-show segment after the match where Rhea was, helping Dom with his post-match recovery stuff. She had the Black Rose still, and she was like, "I want to get one thing straight. I don't belong to you. You belong to me." So it's like, that implies...
Do you know what a Black Rose means?
Yes, I Googled that.
The end of a relationship.
Yeah.
So it is...
Yeah. But that...
I think he's getting the...
You know what? He's with
Liv.
But that segment kind of implied she might have forgiven him a little bit, but I think SummerSlam will definitely be the nail in the coffin of who chooses who with Dom, Liv, and Rhea. And, I mean, we see on the WWE website that they switched Rhea to a face while the rest of Judgment Day is still considered heel.
I think that Rhea should just focus on a singles run. I understand the whole dynamic in the story and why it's there. I would just prefer just straight dominant run again.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so like outside of the Judgment Day?
Yeah, just outside of everything.
I mean, that'd be nice, but she can still do it within the Judgment Day, no?
We haven't been expecting...
No, I think she's leaving the Judgment Day.
We have been expecting a Judgment Day breakup, especially with Damian sort of taking the leadership role while Rhea was gone, and Damian keeps kind of going against like normal Judgment Day status quos. Like, he's going out for his promos solo. He's like, I
he's kind of like a nice guy,
Yeah. He's being treated as a babyface right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, though.
But speaking of Damian doing stuff solo, his face-to-face setup promo with Gunther, I found it weird.
Why?
Because they brought up social classes in this promo.
Yeah.
I just think with the characters they're currently running with, both Gunther and Damian, that was the weird plot point to bring up, I feel.
It was weird, but it's also a heel thing to do.
Yeah, but yeah.
Kind of saying, like, I deserve this, you don't.
Yeah. I just feel like, especially for Gunther being off TV for a decent bit of spells, it's like, this is weird seeing how your last time showing up, you were very like powerhousey, respectful, and now you're just smacking the current champion around, calling him a poor boy, and it's like,
well,
it feels off.
So with the IC title, he was putting prestige and respect into it, so that was his thing. And after he lost it, he said, "I have nothing holding me back now." He said, "There's nothing that I need to respect." He said, "But the mat." So,
you think he could beat him?
Oh yeah, I think Gunther is taking it.
I'm still 50-50.
I don't know. Lately, I've been kind of leaning to liking watching Damian Priest. I mean, I heard people were calling bisexual Undertaker. I thought that was the funniest thing
That
ever.
is hilarious. But don't get me wrong, I don't hate his reign,
No.
but I don't see them booking Gunther to lose unless it's going to be a screwy finish. But Damian Priest is getting tired of the screwy finishes.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that I see Damian winning for two reasons. One, the plot is there with Damian. You have his stuff with the Judgment Day, with Seth, with Drew, and CM Punk even a little bit. It's like the plot is there with Damian, and that story still has a lot to build up. Trying to insert Gunther into that while it's already so developed could be tricky, but it's WWE, they can do it. The second reason I see is they want to give Damian a convincing and a very forward statement first clean win. And having it at the big event of SummerSlam, I could definitely see them doing that. And Damian has proved, like, he's a fellow powerhouse wrestler. He can put on shows, and having that first clean win against Gunther would solidify that. But again, I will say I'm 50-50.
Yeah, no disrespect to Damian Priest. I can see him winning the match. It's just I'm more on the side of Gunther taking it.
Yeah.
But Damian Priest is a powerhouse. He can do everything. I can see him winning it.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know how they would go about booking it to be clean.
I'm sure he's gonna win it. I'm sure. I don't know. He's watching the way people react to Damian Priest. People are starting to love him a lot more. I don't know. They better ride that wave. He's up, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another thing too is that people are saying the Gunther momentum needs to continue. I will continue with elaborate on that comment. Gunther has off TV spells. It's like, sure, he has a lot of momentum, but I feel like it's because of his in-ring stuff why he has so much momentum, but he's missing from TV quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that push as top dog will need a push.
Well, I'm not sure why he wasn't off TV since pretty much King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
He had some spots on TV, but he wasn't there. I'm not sure why. But that being, he had a huge reign with the IC,
Mm-hmm.
so he's deserving of a slight break.
Yeah.
But they should have continued the momentum after King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
He just won. They should have continued that momentum.
He was also only on TV for his King and Queen of the Ring qualifying matches. Like, he rarely cut promos. If he didn't have a qualifying match that week, he wasn't there, I think. So it's like, even post losing a almost 2-year IC reign to just the momentum of I'm still a powerhouse, and I get he's a respectful fighter character, but still talking some smack to his fellow trying to qualify people. It would have been nice to see.
Yeah, but also they're kind of lost right now with what to do with him because they just took Giovanni Vinci out of Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
Then they moved him to SmackDown, and he's written out right now. So they're not doing anything with him. Ludwig Kaiser was getting a push,
Mm-hmm.
but then he got injured, so that kind of halted that momentum, at least for right now. So Gunther is just in this limbo of I don't think they know how to book him as a singles person without anyone by his side right now.
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time for them to get that character right for a singles run.
In other news, speaking of Ludwig Kaiser, some people in his little rivalry, Sheamus and Bronson Reed, post that match, we saw a new heel turn. Pete Dunne attacking Sheamus.
I'm happy to see Pete Dunne back as a heel. It is about time that they do something with him too. I mean, I know they were doing stuff in NXT. Tyler Bate got injured, but I really want to see Pete Dunne as a heel on his own.
Yeah. It was interesting that this is the storyline they inserted into. It does have previous storyline backing, which I like with Triple H long-term storytelling, bringing up older stories. We like we're still in 2024 and the Shield keeps getting brought up. It's like a plot line is never truly dead under this new.
Yeah, it's like the wrestlers have memory again.
Yeah.
It's like they can actually recall previous events. It's very, very nice.
Yeah.
The Shield. The Shield was nice.
Yeah.
Yes, the Shield. Oh my God. Favorite faction.
Yeah.
Favorite faction.
But speaking of memories, probably a bit of a harsher note, we saw the emotional reintroduction of Rowan on the VHS tape. And though he might have cried on command, but those tears were real.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, him talking about losing two brothers in a decently short amount of time just made that promo was amazing. And then
So he's back?
yeah, he's in the White Six. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
He was the big guy with the orange beard?
Yep.
Ah.
Yep. And he's still big.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I
He was
remember
also
those
with
guys.
Brian with his
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
That makes me happy actually.
Mhm.
But speaking of the White Six, we also saw unmasked Bo Dallas get called out by Chad Gable, and it is also official that Chad is now aligning himself with the Creed brothers,
which I cannot wait for. That is an amazing pairing.
But they quickly made their exit as soon as the lights went out, and the Wyatt Six just stood there for a good solid 2 minutes, menacingly being like, "We gonna fight or do you want to run away?" And they chose run away.
And that's smart.
I would do that. Yeah,
I am running from the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
As soon as I see that big man with that hammer, I am running away.
Yeah, but
I am gone like
yeah,
the wind.
but Bo during the attack definitely tapped into his crazy man stuff and made reference to both Bray and the other one. Why am I blanking on his name? Because he was both laughing and saying yeah while getting beat up.
That is Brody Lee.
Yeah.
Luke Harper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was terrifying seeing how in character everyone involved in the Wyatt Six is getting, especially Taylor/Bo. It's like last Monday when we saw him in Adam Pearce's office, I was like, oh, that cannot be good.
And then Bo said, there you are.
Yeah.
To Chad, which Uncle Howdy's been saying to him, right?
Yeah. Uncle Howdy's been saying that to everyone who has a session with him.
There you are.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't know if, we definitely want to see actual in-ring fights with the Wyatt Six. I don't know if SummerSlam is where it's going to be at. Yes, it's a big show, but this slow burn has been itching at me in both keep it going and I want to see them in action. It's I'm 50-50 on whether SummerSlam is the right show to finally have Uncle Howdy in ring.
If I remember correctly, this was the in-ring debut of them. It was also 5 years ago the in-ring debut of the Fiend's character.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fiend's first match was at SummerSlam.
Okay,
so I think if they are keeping it up, their first match will be at SummerSlam, and I think it's going to be against the Alpha Academy.
Yeah. The Alpha Academy is actually the old Alpha Academy is actually.
I think they're keeping the name.
Yeah, but the old Alpha Academy was actually helping Xavier Woods against the Final Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I find an interesting alliance, especially because Final Testament is trying to turn any member of the New Day heel.
Yes, they are.
Damn.
Yeah.
They took Kofi out.
Yep.
Also, on One Raw, it said Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods, not the New Day. On the nameplate when they came out.
Yep.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. So there's hints.
So the New Day's done?
There's hints at a breakup.
At it.
But I think it's next Monday we're getting that official match made. I just crafted that in my head. Otis is going to be in the same ring as the Authors of Pain.
That's crazy.
Oh my. We are going to see, as Big E so eloquently says, big meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3v3, so it's Otis and Tozawa and Xavier Woods versus Final Testament. But yeah, no.
That is going to be an amazing match. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
to watch.
Max over here just like trying to hold his laughter.
Bro, it's what Big E said on the podcast. So every time there's big meaty man slapping meat, I gotta say it.
Yeah, but going back to the Wyatt Six, that was also the dopest entrance ever. It was just blaring light, and then all of a sudden they appeared, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah, dude. The Wyatt Six, I cannot wait to see what they're gonna do with them.
Yeah,
It's gonna be insane.
In terms of like hypeness, they are in my top 5. Like I cannot wait.
yeah. Like there are some things that like the slow burn is a little too slow. Like we brought this up before we started this podcast. I was sick of how slow the Alpha Academy breakup with Otis attacking Chad. How slow that was going.
That was pretty slow, actually.
Yeah, but this Wyatt Six, slow burn all you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're gonna have a match at Mania?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty up right now.
I feel like especially if 2K25's legacy cover is going to be Bray, which it probably is. I
hope
feel
so.
like they gotta give the Wyatt Six a Mania match.
Well, I guess we're just gonna see how SummerSlam goes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
'Cause if it kills, which I'm sure it's gonna, then they're most definitely gonna be at Mania.
Okay. So, looking at their ranks, they have Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross.
Yes.
Is their tag team Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis? Like the 3-man? Who's their duo?
I mean, they could just do it.
I know that they're
any of
not
them,
going to
really.
be
Yeah.
like a huge. They're going to be in the roster, but they're not going to be in the roster with everyone else.
I think they got to bring in Rowan more.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like kind of like how big factions have been. You have the main title goer, the mid carder, and then the tag duo. Maybe I see Rowan might be the mid carder. See solo star.
I mean,
Depending
be
on how
fun.
well they use him, I would not hate him going for a main title run.
That's true. Yeah.
that'd be
At
so
least
cool.
just one match.
Yeah.
That'd be fire.
Like establish them as a dominant group because they need to be established as a dominant group.
Yeah. But interesting thing about Nikki Cross, when they were doing the face reveal VHS, I might be wrong, but I tried rewatching it back. I don't know if they revealed Nikki's face.
Nope.
No.
They kept the Sister Abigail mask on.
Yeah, which I found like does that mean like either they're keeping her under wraps or is she not going to be a wrestler but more of a managerial role?
I think she's going to be the managerial role because
Yeah.
if I recall correctly, for the Fiend, Uncle Howdy was going to be the managerial person. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I think that's how it was going to go. So with Sister Abigail being this mystical person
Mm-hmm.
that we saw once, but I hated when we saw it because it was just Bray in a shawl with a voice modulator. It did not look good. But having Sister Abigail as this mascot, as this benevolent force, would be amazing for the group.
And along with this topic as well, Alexa Bliss keeps posting training and practice videos, and a bunch of people are like, is she going to be against the Wyatt Six or is she going to rejoin the Wyatt family? And I'm like, I don't know what I want.
I have no idea. I would kind of like to see her do her own thing,
Yeah.
but I know there's also a lot of history with Bray.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not hate seeing her back in the fold because then she could be the women's division representative
Yeah.
if they want to do it like that.
Yeah. It's interesting. But yeah. To conclude the Raw news, this news comes with a grain of salt because this is the one thing I wanted to be wrong on when it comes to the IC title reign of Sami Zayn, but Braun Breaker interrupts the match between Sami Zayn and Ilya, technically giving Ilya the win though, since the spear was delivered to Ilya. So Sami technically
it was disqualification.
Yeah.
So he keeps the title.
Yeah, he keeps the title. It's considered a no contest, but if there was a win to be handed out, it would have technically gone to Ilya.
Hey, Sami Zayn is gonna keep that thing for a while, man.
But that probably means there's going to be a triple threat / a run back at SummerSlam. I wanted to be wrong, but I hate that. But I hate that I'm not.
A triple threat sounds awesome.
So I think I love Sami. I don't like how his reign is being handled right now. But they said that the only reason why Braun didn't win it is because it was not a big enough stage. SummerSlam is your second biggest show internally. Fan-wise, it's always the Royal Rumble. I love the Rumble. But I think this is where you have Braun win it. You have Braun pin Ilya to keep Sami strong. But you could also have Sami take the pin and still look strong somewhat.
I will say this: the triple threat is not official, but it is heavily implied that Adam Pearce is probably going to book it like that.
Yeah, it's looking to be right now Braun and Sami, but I can also see
I want
Ilya
that
getting
triple
it.
threat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds awesome as hell.
Get almost every other NXT call up has had a PLE appearance. Might as well get Ilya on there. Surprised it's been this long.
Except for I'm forgetting her name, Kiana James. She got drafted to Raw and nothing is happening with her.
Oh yeah. Also,
and they also had Dijak and they let him go.
Yeah.
Which was
stupid.
He
left the company.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they aren't doing well. I'll talk more about something. Actually, I'll bring it up now. Internally, this is news-wise. Internally, Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Tamina have all been removed from the internal roster.
Oh, snap.
So Bobby's out?
Bobby Lashley might be gone. So we don't know what that means.
He did have
profit.
Yeah, he did have quite a few injury spells before Mania, and even a little bit after.
Damn, I love Bobby too.
Yeah,
they really dropped the ball with Bobby. They really did.
Yeah.
Poor Bobby. I remember playing him in 07.
Street Profits are still doing some stuff in SmackDown. They're actually part of the qualifier gauntlet to challenge DIY.
We'll talk about that more when we get to the SmackDown section because I have quite a few things to say about that. But jump to NXT.
Yep, NXT. We see the first match since the Rascals got back together versus Gallus, and mate, they are high flying.
The Rascals are so amazing.
Not just high flying. Holy shit!
That chemistry is still there.
I was surprised to see a trio of guys to catch my eye because that was the very first show of NXT I've ever watched fully.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad I got to see that Rascals return. That shit was dope. They came in, oh, we're the Rascals, we're back. And then Gallus come in, oh, this is going to be the quickest, like, reunition loss ever. I'm like,
it wasn't.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. But it was funny because in the middle of the match also, none other than Joe Hendry joins the commentary booth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my. I believe in Joe Hendry. Dude. Oh my god, what a fucking legend already. I love him. I love him.
But other NXT stuff, Trick Williams, in a backstage segment, was video chatting Ilya about losing the NXT title and trying to keep momentum, still look like a strong competitor. And it was a very decently quick but still touching segment, seeing Ilya helping his friend after the, moving on to the Raw brand, being called up, and it was nice. And then, Trick goes, because Pete Dunne was in the locker room for some reason. Trick goes to ask Pete Dunne, and Pete just says, "Not my problem."
I did see that. No, that's like,
Yeah.
poor Williams, bro.
Well, unfortunately, after Pete Dunne lost his NXT UK title, I don't really remember them doing much with him after.
Yeah.
So he really does not have any idea.
But that's an interesting thing I want to bring up is, despite call-ups and like a bunch and the draft happening and stuff, we still see a lot of crossover between NXT and main roster stuff. Like, there's a lot of people who are technically on the main roster still making appearances at NXT, like Pete Dunne, and New Catch Republic in general. We saw Final Testament there for a while. We still see Meechin show up on NXT a little bit.
The OC.
Yeah. And it's like, I like the crossover stuff, and it's giving us, and this is a topic I want to bring up, is WWE / just the main roster shows getting a little overpopulated?
They are. And here is how they're using NXT. It's obviously the developmental brand. They're starting to treat it like a solid third brand now. They use it for if someone's not getting enough like play on the main roster. Cedric Alexander and Asante the Adonis have now moved down to NXT because there's more stuff to do.
I mean, we saw Ivar have a spell also.
Yep, and then they have NXT Level Up, which also gives people that aren't getting enough shine on NXT a platform to do stuff. It's been long said that main event for the main roster is like a death sentence. As Dijak put it, it's like a death sentence, I believe he said. So, it is very obvious that they want to elevate talent that's not getting utilized properly, which is amazing because this is also veteran talent getting to mix it up with up and comers and give them lessons and teach them how to run the ropes. So it is amazing what they're doing with it.
Like, we just got done talking about Raw, and Raw is kind of the storyline show with a bunch of, stars and a bunch of stories, and feels like a lot of involvement. But if you go to the Raw roster page, a lot of people are getting left out. Like, I have not seen the Viking Raiders or any stuff about them since Mania.
They're both injured.
Yeah, which is sad, but...
Yeah, so they're both injured, unfortunately. The tag division, they introduced these new belts. They split them. They're not doing anything with them.
No, they're back. They're back on Judgment Day right now, which is,
So they're kind of waiting for this whole Rhea situation to end for the Judgment Day, but that is a different story for a different time.
Yeah. But...
Obafemi and Duke Hudson cooked.
We were talking about how excited we were for that match. It did not disappoint. Like, I was looking at highlights and watching that match back, and I will bring up the comments of there was actual worry and fear on Oba's eyes, I think. It was like, oh, this guy's actually a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Who's beasting it up, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Obafemi is... He has a bright future. I keep saying this every time I talk about him.
When the Rumble comes around, I want one of the pseudo call-ups to be Oba.
I think Oba is going to have the ring clearing spot. If it doesn't go to Braun, it's going to Oba, I think.
It has to be Joe Hendry.
I think he's going to make an appearance, but I don't think he's going to have the ring clearing spot.
What if he comes and commentates? That would be perfect.
He commentates and then he gets drafted into the match.
Yeah.
That would
Oh
be
my
amazing.
God, Joe Hendry at
Kind
the
of like what
Rumble.
they did with Pat.
Yeah, exactly. And he actually kicks ass instead of just getting eliminated.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, Kurt Angle did say that Joe Hendry is the one guy who he thinks should be in the WWE.
Oh, I think, especially with what they did at Slammiversary, because I don't dislike that they put it on Nick Nemeth, who was Dolph Ziggler, but it was their opportunity to put it on Joe Hendry. He literally eliminated the champion at the time, Moose. And then you have a babyface turn on him, eliminate him, and then it go down to those two. And I just think Joe Hendry should have won. They failed to capitalize because he goes to NXT. Why not have your world championship on NXT?
Yeah.
That's more exposure for
Kinda like-
your brand.
Yeah, kind of like what you did with Jordan Grace
Yeah.
as well.
It's so, like, it was such a wasted opportunity. Granted, I don't know. Nick Nemeth has had, obviously, a huge run with WWE being Dolph Ziggler, so he could make an appearance, but I don't see him making an appearance. They just failed to capitalize on
it
Joe
could
Hendry's
al-
momentum.
It could also hint that the crossover might be coming to a close and Joe Hendry eventually officially moves to NXT.
I don't think it's coming to a close. I think this is going to end with the Worlds Collide event.
Yeah. Which who knows when that happen, if it's happening.
I think that happens either after Survivor Series, like that weekend, or the Rumble that weekend.
Because the Rumble is when I feel like it would be kind of climactic if it was the NXT Sunday PLE post Rumble, because Rumble is when the news sort of broke out like, hey, TNA can cross over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
It would be very fitting.
I
for
don't
that
think
to
it's
be the
coming to
Sunday
a
show.
close. I think it ends with the Worlds Collide event, because if they don't do that, that is a huge wasted opportunity. They did it with NXT and NXT UK.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I think they did it twice. Those two events were amazing.
Yeah.
And now they have an opportunity to do it with an actual different company, not just a different subsection of NXT. It would be amazing.
Yeah. That's about it for NXT, but before we get to SmackDown, I want to bring a couple shows we usually don't talk about. First, Speed.
I fucking hate this concept.
I don't even know what Speed is.
So Speed is a preliminary division where all the matches, it's tournament style, qualifying for a championship match. The qualifying matches are all 3 minutes max.
Kind of like that UFC show back in the day.
UFC show back in the day.
Yeah, where they'd be like fighting, and then like it would be a tournament at the end, and then like
Well,
So all
I
the
think-
matches are tournament style except the championship one. They're all 3 minutes.
So yeah, it's bracket. They all face each other. It's all on Twitter,
Yep.
because I refuse to call it X. It's on Twitter. They have 3-minute matches. Winner goes on to face the champion in a 5-minute match, right?
Yeah. All championship matches are 5-minute matches. So in the semifinals of this current tournament to face the current champion Andrade, Baron Corbin already qualified for the finals to see who fought the champion. However, he gets to skip the line because for the first time in Speed history, we actually got a draw. And that draw was between Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. Opinions on both the Speed show and the conclusion of this match.
Wait, so they don't have a triple threat match for
No.
the finals? He
The
just
ru-
goes on?
The rules are if it's a draw, both are disqualified.
damn.
Actually, now that piqued my interest. I've hated this concept, but that's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think Andrade and Baron Corbin's going to be good. I would have loved to see Andrade and Carmelo Hayes for the Speed Championship because they cooked on SmackDown.
Yeah, but also Ilya and Carmelo, their video segment got a little additional time because they had a little argument and scuffle about, we didn't finish the match.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and Ilya was literally when the clock hit 1 was going for a pin, but it wasn't enough time to do the 3 count. Yeah, but it's like it makes both people still look strong, especially since they're recent main roster call-ups. But the reason why I bring this up is, again, not a lot of people are paying attention to speed anymore.
Well, it got that initial boost because they put it on Ricochet, and now with him being gone,
I feel like
they put it on Andrade. Not saying Andrade is bad.
Yeah.
I just haven't watched it.
I feel like the initial tournament also had a lot of publicity boost because it's like, hey, new title, new belt, new champion that can get some actual TV time. But we later learned that contractually they are only allowed to show the belt on X and Speed, and that's where everything started dying.
Yeah, because if you don't give them it's in his render. But if you don't give him the opportunity to actually showcase the belt, put it on a platform, then you're not going to get any buzz around it.
Yeah, and when Speed first got brought up, I thought it would have been an interesting thing to use it in actual storylines, like have a speed match, and then like and then like maybe the person lost the speed match, but being like, okay, you can do quick matches. How about a long one, and maybe set up like a last man standing match? And it's like, this concept sounded cool on paper. The actual execution of everything sucks.
Yes, I know they're long, but in kind of an update to your thing, if they were to do an Iron Man match instead of a last man standing match, they're longer. But it's also the exact opposite of a speed match.
Yeah.
You have like 30 minutes instead of 3 or 5 if it's a championship match.
Yeah. But speaking of timed matches speaking of longer timed matches, a little AEW snippet, because I want to both bring it up and sort of poke at it a little bit. Will Ospreay versus MJF. It was an amazing match. It was a banger.
Mm-hmm.
And I put in my comments on my notes, that's AEW's quarterly banger.
No, I think that, okay. I don't watch AEW. I want to make that clear, but it's no disrespect to the talent there or to the product. I just don't have enough time to watch it. I catch up with highlights. Everything that they're doing right now is good, except for FTR. I'm not going to get into it. That whole situation is just stupid. But it's not their quarterly banger, but it is their best match of the year, in my opinion.
I think quarterly. Yeah, I think quarterly banger because of like the news of like what people are still talking about, what's still showing up on social media post like the actual match ending and all that stuff, like how the matches sort of like surfaced with people. And when I was looking back up at stuff, the last match I saw people have major talks about was all the way back in March, the I Quit match between Adam Copeland / Edge and it was Christian Cage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's like the last people that was the last AEW match I saw people talking about for an extended period of time, kind of like what we have now. And it's like, and again, everyone's sort of poking fun at AEW, saying it's a dying. And again, no disrespect on the talent or the execs in charge of it, kind of though, but it's like, if comparing it to WWE, like we have people talking about matches from a month ago, from 2 months ago, and still talking about matches all the way back years ago. And everyone's classifying those matches as bangers. We even have bangers on the weekly shows. Like I think of Jey Uso versus Gunther both times, and it's like and I hear no discussion about AEW's weekly, only their PLEs.
So I don't think a lot of their matches are like, don't take this wrong. I don't think they're headline worthy, but their storylines right now are amazing. Tony Storm just got beat up by Mariah May, just got backstabbed, bloody as hell. That is an intriguing storyline for me. That makes me want to watch it. Like, I actually want to watch AEW for that. I like how they're using Swerve as champion. I don't like the Team AEW lineup per se for their Blood and Guts match, which is their answer to War Games. I don't like their lineup, but that's not because Swerve's in it. I love Swerve. I just would rather they use other people.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great product. It is a fantastic alternative to WWE if you would prefer much bloodier wrestling and stuff like that.
I almost was interested in AEW like when Edge came back, because as also a Percy Jackson fan, I wanted to see what he was doing when he wasn't on set, what moveset he's still using. I also was interested in the Masked Devil storyline with MJF when he was a bit injured, and with Adam Cole. It piqued my interest. And then it just immediately died.
Well, that's because Adam Cole got injured and then MJF got injured.
Yeah.
But that is also no fault to each of the people. Adam Cole just unfortunately got injured because he was running to help him and he jumped off of the stage because it was like a ramp that goes directly to the ring. So it was raised on the sides. So he jumped off and he tweaked his ankle. So, like, that's just unfortunate. Like, that's just a random injury that you can't prevent. So, with that, unfortunately, that momentum died down. I would love to see it continue.
Yeah.
Again,
but,
if they actually do it.
Yeah. It's like they put on decent shows, they have decent storylines, but it seems like their headliners are always getting injured.
Unfortunately, right now, wrestling is just getting hit with a wrestling bug. I mean, like, it's not always getting hit with a wrestling bug, but this year is just insane.
Yeah, what a good year to, like, get invested, huh?
I think it was, like, last time I checked, it was, like, 17% of the roster for WWE was injured.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That's almost a quarter of your roster just on the shelf.
Yeah.
So...
I don't say all this stuff to knock at AEW. Other people are doing that for me.
Yeah.
Like, I have expressed interest, it's just the stuff that was captivating my interest has gone nowhere. And it's also, a lot of people are complaining about their champion booking, especially because one of their bookers and story writers is also a competitor.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have my gripes with AEW. I am willing to give it a try. But it's just... whenever they capture me, they immediately lose me.
No tribalism in these comments. I don't want to hear any negative things that they're just so untrue about any company. Wrestling should be thriving right now.
Yeah.
All the talk should be positive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my quarterly Boehner comment. My quarterly Boehner comment was a little negative, I will admit that, but I was just trying to bring up the discussion of like, does AEW still have momentum? And honestly, it does. I'll give it that. It's just much slower than other companies right now. Yeah. But moving on from that, TNA also had some good stuff. In addition to their weekly and Slammiversary, the Rascals had their moment on both TNA and at Slammiversary, making the match at Slammiversary the first NXT and TNA crossover match on a PLE/pay-per-view. Which I'm like, they're setting, as we brought up with Worlds Collide, they're definitely setting something up if this crossover is going as far as PLEs.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the Rascals come over to WWE fully? Or do you think this eventually gets split?
That's the thing. I wouldn't hate.
Or do you think this is just gonna continue for however long they want it to?
That's the thing. Going back to AEW, their Forbidden Door stuff does pique my interest, and they've brought up having it continue as a yearly event.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't hate as sort of a counterplay WWE pulls is keeping their relationship with TNA. I would like the talents to thrive on their own shows, though.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Like-
I think they're still gonna thrive,
Yeah,
but
but what I'm trying to say is I do think people need to make their decisions like kind of like with the show bouncing happening with people doing main roster and NXT stuff. I'm okay with that. I do feel like though, because TNA is still its own individual company, not under the WWE umbrella, I feel like eventually, like, you can keep this as an annual Worlds Collide thing, new NXT pay-per-view. I feel like you do gotta pick eventually your side on what locker room you want to be a part of.
mm-hmm. Do we think Joe Hendry's moving over?
He needs to go to the main roster. He really
I do
does.
feel like we do get Joe Hendry. Maybe if Jordan Grace loses the title, we get her on NXT. But I feel like in return, some NXT people do go to TNA. Like maybe a couple of Jordan Grace's challengers. Maybe the Rascals do stay perma TNA after this crossover. Who knows? We're not executives.
Joe Hendry in NXT would be awesome.
Yeah.
But let's move on to SmackDown.
Oh boy.
The first note I have, I know it's not the first thing that happened in the show. Tiffany Stratton's briefcase got broken.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make you mad?
No, it makes me happy. She's getting a whole new briefcase. She's
Yep.
getting a personalized one.
Merchandise.
Merchandise. You remember when Damian Sandow had his?
Mm.
It was the leather one with the leather studs in it.
You think it's gonna look fire?
It's going to be pink and sparkly, I think.
They are definitely going to bedazzle the heck out of it.
But I'm excited. I always love when people get a personalized briefcase
Yeah, that sounds
because
cool.
it makes them seem like they're investing in
It's more characterization.
Yeah.
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 It's awesome.
RVD had a personalized one.
Yeah, I feel like if you're also personalizing it, it means it'll be a longer holding out as well.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
because they want to sell replicas.
Think
Yeah.
of the action figure sales.
Yeah.
That too. Think of it
But-
in 2K.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Senior Money in the Bank briefcase as an option on the game
Yeah,
and a bunch of other ones. Yeah.
I downloaded it.
Yeah. But I want to go back to my earlier comment about slow burn stories. Can A Down from Down Under just break up already? Because in the beginning of the show, Cody calls out Solo, gets interrupted not by the Bloodline, but by A Town from Down Under, blaming him for all the problems that are on SmackDown.
Cody is not to blame. Okay, he's just being a champion.
But that included Austin.
Flip me off.
Sorry, no.
This guy just flipped me off.
I sometimes point with my middle finger.
Hold on, this guy said. Anyways, wow.
No, but they were also blaming Cody, prompting Jacob Fatu's attack for Austin Theory's puppy cheek, and it's like this is one story I don't want slow burned anymore because I've commented on it before. I don't like any of Grayson Waller's or Austin Theory's current characters. Waller's I'm a little bit more happy about because it's like he's a decent heel. He's a little more charismatic as well. Theory needs a new gimmick.
Well, are they in the gauntlet?
I don't believe they are.
Because if they're not in the gauntlet, there's a huge wasted opportunity to book the breakup.
Yeah.
But if they don't book it soon, I think it's probably going to happen at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I also want to see the breakup happen.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like Theory's decent in ring. Like he's not the most entertaining, but he still puts on decent showings. He's definitely probably better as a more heel character, which is going to be weird seeing him as the face in this breakup. But it's like
He definitely has the charisma of a thumbtack. No knock on him, but
no,
it's
like,
just
he
Then give him a manager.
something needs to happen.
yeah.
Bring in Vicky.
Why?
But speaking
Just for the annoyance.
on the opposite spectrum of promo work, Logan Paul versus LA Knight roast off. Dadgum, it was amazing.
Yeah, I am upset at how good Logan is as a heel. That's just because he's a he's a heel
Logan
person.
He's
in
an
real life.
athlete. He is an entertainer. Logan Paul is just for the show business.
How do you feel about this? Third longest reigning U.S. champion had 2 defenses.
Honestly, considering that he's just a part-timer, I mean, you just look at the matches he put on. Just look at them. Come on.
The 2 title defenses?
They're phenomenal matches. And there's going to be another one.
That's
He's probably going to lose.
Well, that's okay. Get it off.
Yeah, please get it off.
Because he shouldn't have the longest reigning, so let's prevent that from happening. But, like, yeah, he's still, it's whatever. It's just the 3rd spot. It's not like he's GOAT status.
I want to also bring this up is the US title is the mid-card title, and usually that's the title they use for weeklies, and also usually the titles where it's under threat of changing hands on weeklies. Like, the US title actually initially changed hands to Rey Mysterio on a weekly in order to set up Rey versus Logan for that change-up.
They've also changed hands at a house show with, I think it was AJ Styles beating Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
At a Madison Square Garden show.
Yeah.
It was a live show. They booked a title change.
Yeah. And even in Gunther's IC title run, like a bunch of people thought either Jay wins it on this episode of Raw or he gets, interrupted by the Bloodline. And of course he got interrupted by the Bloodline, but it's like world titles only change on PLEs usually. Like it's very rare we see them change on a weekly unless it's a vacate battle royal.
Yeah.
Like what we just saw with the women's title this past year. But the mid-card titles are the titles that bring in people to the weekly being like, are we going to get a new champion? And Logan Paul has disappointed us week by week of only defending on PLEs.
Yeah. But hey, they should have known that was going to happen when they booked him as the champion. He's a busy ass dude.
That's true.
That's not really Logan's fault. I mean, it's more the company's, I'd say.
He also can't go on their tour of Japan.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Damn it, Logan! One job!
What I also want to bring up is when he initially got when he was announced for a match for the title, he did bring up to, press and news people that he wanted to be on the shows more. And he still keeps the same schedule, however. It's like,
he was in the Mr.
empty
Beast video, okay?
promises.
He was in the Mr. Beast video. Cut him some slack.
That does not make up
It is
for him
Mr.
missing
Beast,
the-
let him be.
no, but it's like,
Damn it. Mr. Beast.
yeah, but it's like, I feel like, especially for the mid-card title, you want it on TV every week. And that's why I think LA Knight's going to take it. One, LA Knight has that stardom momentum, and
He's an older wrestler, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He
yeah,
was in TNA before this.
Wow,
Yeah. I
I hope he takes it. Because it'd be good for the
He also hasn't won anything, unfortunately.
yeah.
So
I'd say, yeah.
He has
well
been-
deserving.
to win.
He has been the favorite for so many different matches, like last year's Money in the Bank. Even a couple people were saying, give him it to this Money in the Bank. But now, him having an actual title shot is like, that momentum is amazing. And some people thought last year that LA Knight was going to be the one to dethrone Roman at 2023's Crown Jewel.
I never thought that.
I didn't
Not
either.
for a
but-
second.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't either, but it was brought up in the news and in a bunch of predictions, and it didn't happen.
It's
I found
okay.
it funny.
Trevin could beat Roman Reigns.
Heck no!
And
Don't
then,
put that in the universe.
He comes out of nowhere and spears you.
like I mentioned earlier, Carmelo and Andrade cooked. They had an amazing match. Please, please let this have a match at SummerSlam. At least a pre-show match. I just need more of them in the ring.
Yeah, and yeah, we brought up Bailey destroying Tiffy's briefcase. Yeah, it's weird because when I actually want to go back to the Andrade and Carmelo points a little bit because when Andrade initially got drafted to SmackDown, it seemed like his main storyline was going to be with I'm gonna butcher the name, so I'm just gonna call them Phantasma.
Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, it seemed like one of his old NXT, but from his NXT days, one of his buddies that's in the faction wanted him to join, and that storyline lasted that episode.
I don't think it was from NXT because I can't remember them ever having a run in an NXT, but
Probably the Indies then.
no, it's just I mean they could have ran into each other in the Indies, but I just think it's my biggest fear for Stephanie Vaquer when she comes in if she goes to the main roster. I do not want them to just put the Hispanic and Latino wrestlers in with the Hispanic and Latino groups. Please, they are more than just their fucking race. Let them perform.
And
Let them perform and do
And
What, are they more like luchador wrestlers or something, or is it?
Well, so they have two Hispanic groups right now. The LWO, which has Rey
That's
Mysterio.
been there forever, right?
No, they just brought it back.
Yeah.
Well,
and that-
yeah, but like back in the
and
day,
that's
it was there.
and that's the Raw.
Yeah, that's the
Faction
Raw
right now.
rep.
Yeah.
That is Rey Mysterio,
Dragon Lee.
Considering that Rey
Dragon
Mysterio is on there, it's
Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
Is it the? I'm forgetting their names. I remember
Because
I
LWO
remember
was
his
also
whole
the bigger
name, I think it's
faction.
Raul Mendoza. I think his name is Cruz del Toro now.
Yeah.
And Joaquin Wild.
Yeah.
And then they have on SmackDown Legado del Fantasma,
Which only has 4 members currently.
Berto, Angel, Santos
Santos.
Escobar, and Elektra Lopez.
I say Judgment Day is pretty much like that too, right?
No,
Other than like
they
the
have-
one dude,
Damien, Carlito, and
Dom.
Dom.
Isn't that like most of their members?
It's 3, but
I
I
don't
wouldn't
like-
consider Carlito a member. He's
No.
just in their clubhouse.
Yeah.
I think they're always getting
Because Rhea and Damien had a conversation on this Raw of like, did we let Carlito in? And Damien was like, I don't even know.
He just showed up one
Look, I think
day.
Carlito is there to stay.
I just fucking love Carlito.
His
I love that he's
one-liners
getting
are
screen time.
awesome.
I love that he's getting screen time. It's just
He's just like so
it's like
fun.
R-Truth with the Judgment Day. He just showed up.
Well,
one
that's
day.
the thing with Carlito is he was an easy shoe-in to the Judgment Day because LWO got drafted to Raw with Carlito still on the roster, even though the previous SmackDown, Carlito turned on LWO. So they're like, well, we got to keep this heel turn storyline going. Who's an easy shoe-in? Oh, wait. Ray's whole son is on Judgment Day. Let's just shoe him into that faction.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I love
and then he
that.
just stuck.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really good match. It really
It's
is.
kind of like what happened with JD McDonough. It's just he showed up, he did a couple
Okay,
things.
no. JD McDonough got his ass beat for an entire fucking year to get into the Judgment
Every
Day,
match
okay?
I saw him in, yeah.
When already his first initials are the initials of the fucking group, so he should have been in there.
He's the poster boy, damn
He's
it.
literally Judgment Day McDonough.
Yeah, but
fucking, Carlito's done nothing to get in the group.
that's
Oh,
the thing is that I bring up JD because we never officially heard a "you're in."
No, he's in.
Yeah,
He's in the group. They just don't put him on merch.
yeah.
Which is fucked. But let's move away from that discussion, even though that is an amazing discussion.
Yeah, but
Cody and Kevin Owens got jumped.
they did.
They took the win though, right?
Mhm.
They won the
Yeah.
match.
They won the match against A-Town.
Well, they were getting it until Fatu showed up again,
Mhm.
solidifying that he is the scariest man in the fucking WWE.
Yes.
He's the scariest man.
Yes, but again, we brought it up in our first episode of the podcast. We gotta see KO versus Fatu. So
I agree.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah,
That'd be a good
it's
match.
like, and also make it a street fight. I'll establish that again. It's like let those two just beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Could they be building this up for?
No, I think
Bad Blood?
they could do it for Bad Blood. I would love that.
Because
match.
like they are starting to like visibly hate each other. Like this could be a setup for Bad
Well,
Blood.
Kevin Owens has been involved in the bloodline for fucking the whole time.
Well, yeah, same
Please
with,
just-
I mean, those two guys in particular have been involved for the whole time.
Just please let Kevin Owens do something else. I would love to see him go after a world title again.
Well, that's
was
the thing.
Cody
He was on Raw, and since the Bloodline lost their basically the title that allowed them to go on Raw, he thought, "Sick, I'm done, I'm over it, peace out." And then Jay got moved to Raw, and he's like, "Dadgummit,"
And then he got drafted to SmackDown.
and he's like, "Dadgummit even more."
So that man is in hell, right?
Yeah, he's like, "I can't escape this stupid family."
But so
Yeah.
they got jumped. Bloodline standing tall. How do we feel about them basically booking the same ending 4 weeks in a row? One with being Paul Heyman getting jumped,
Yep.
one being Randy getting jumped, one being Kevin getting jumped, and then was one Cody getting jumped.
Mhm. It needs to happen. Mainly because they really need to solidify that this group is still just as bad as they once were.
Is different from Roman's Bloodline with the 40-minute promos actually get down to business.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
need to
But-
establish that.
But
these are
also
the guys.
speaking of Roman, he's probably returning at SummerSlam, and he is going to go on a semi-murdering spree.
Also, more news on the Bloodline front. Hikuleo has signed with WWE.
Woo!
So
What if he joins Roman?
I don't think he's joining Roman. I think he's joining Bloodline 2.0.
Okay.
So I don't know what the plan is for the Bloodline Civil War.
I guess it's going to be Roman
But-
and all of his greatest enemies coming together to defeat this bastard of an enemy.
I don't think so. We will get on that in a later video.
Yeah.
But so I don't want to really discuss it here.
Mhm.
I want to save our thoughts for that.
Mhm.
But I don't think that's the case. I think this should just be Anawai family fighting each other.
Mhm.
Because I'm more interested in that than Roman and
Wow.
Cody and Sammy with the Usos.
Once they stop jumping people, then maybe we can talk about that.
But is that all for
I think that's it. That's all my notes.
one more thing on the news front. The Motor City Machine Guns are looking to go to WWE. They are a group from TNA. They have had huge success in their careers. I think they were both recently TNA champion and TNA X Division champion before they lost them. There's talks about them going to AEW, so we don't really know where it's going, but right now it's looking like they are likely going to WWE. So that would be a big boost to their tag division. Them
A
versus
lot.
DIY,
Yeah.
them versus the New Day, them versus the Street Profits,
A lot. Of,
Axiom, Nathan Frazier.
I-
They can have so many great tag matches.
are we hitting that time of the year? I don't know how wrestling works, but are we hitting like that time of the year where like there's going to be a lot of move arounds?
Well, usually it's not like different sporting leagues. It's not like the NBA and NFL where they have
Like
a
free
free
agency,
agency
yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Free agency happens all year long. So whenever people's contracts get ended, they can just show up. Especially because I think, not to get too political, but I think they took away like 90-day compete clauses out of contracts.
Mhm.
Like you can't do that anymore. So people are allowed to just go. Unfortunately, with the last batch of contracts that had it, they couldn't. So, like Jinder Mahal, he just debuted on the Indies again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting his indie name, forgive me, but his 90-day just ended, so he's out on the Indies now. So I think with people getting released now, they can just go and do things like Ricochet. I don't think he has 90-day.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I don't think he has a 90-day though.
Yeah, this whole thing is interesting. Like WWE did have a bunch of releases. Like we bring up Ricochet, we bring up Dijak, a couple other names probably. There's a lot of people moving away from AEW. A couple people, bunch of people are saying are AEW bound still. And to be fair, I brought up Forbidden Door, and the thing is with Forbidden Door, it got introduced to. We got shown how many different circuits are still partnering with AEW.
They have CML, they have CMLL, AAA, New Japan.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
I think they have more, but I think that might be their 3.
So there's a lot of circuits, and it's like wrestling is very strong, but all these move-arounds, and all these different people showing up is like, dadgum, a lot of things are changing.
It keeps me hyped.
Yeah.
All the time. I didn't know Ethan Page was going to show up in NXT, and now he is their champion. Sean Spears came back out of nowhere in NXT.
I do like Ethan Page, actually.
I like move around. It's always my favorite thing in like the NBA. The players getting shooken up and moved. So it's my favorite thing in wrestling when people just show up on a different company because I just love it. Just go up, make your name somewhere else if it's not working.
For real, yeah.
I brought this up in a previous episode, but since the NBA keeps getting brought up, if you want to see these two start an NBA podcast, comment down below and give this video a like, maybe.
I'll rant, but I think that's all for our thoughts.
Yeah.
For this week.
Yeah. So
that's all the news I have.
Yeah, that's
This
it
is
for
the
me
end?
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without further ado, thanks for coming on this podcast episode. You are with yours truly, Caleb, Trevin, Gordon, and Zach as the producer in the back. Thank you for coming to Disqualified. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Deuces.
And thank you for giving us your time.